Chiefs Kingdom, welcome into the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. My name is Jackson Durham, and today we are talking takeaways from the Chiefs' fifth loss of the season, their Week 11 loss, 22-19 to the Denver Broncos on the road. And this one was devastating, guys. I think I'm just going to say what we're all feeling right now, and damn, that sucked. That one absolutely sucked because, and we'll get into this more tomorrow in my Overreaction Monday, the AFC West kind of just went out the door, gang. As much as I hate to say it, as much as that pains me as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, as much as I'm sure it pains every single one of you, our odds of winning the AFC West are now pretty much minute. And there's a lot of reasons why. We're going to get into 4 core reasons why I think we lost this football game in just a minute here. But first, I want to talk about some injury news. So Kingsley Suamataia obviously left this game pretty early on, and that's frustrating just from an offensive line perspective. We've talked so much about how great it was to get back to full strength along the offensive line coming out of the bye week. We had dealt with some injuries in the past. Obviously, Josh Simmons' situation getting resolved recently was a huge win for the team. Trey Smith dealing with the back spasms. He seemed to be back to full strength today. And then we also had Jawan Taylor dealing with an issue as well, the ankle injury he had coming out of the Bills game. But it felt like everybody was back to full strength. And then Kingsley gets hit with another issue today. On the interception return, his head hits the turf pretty hard. According to Andy Reid, he ended up leaving the game, going to the medical tent briefly, and then exiting straight to the locker room. He headed into the concussion protocol. Initially was deemed questionable, but never returned to this game. And Andy did not provide a solid, concrete update for us around Kingsley's situation. But given it's a concussion and the fact that he didn't come back, it seems likely that that was confirmed to be the situation, is that he is actually dealing with concussion. There's various grades to those things. We don't have any details about that at this time, so I'm not going to speculate. But that could be a situation where Kingsley is unavailable next week if he remains in the concussion protocol. So absolutely something to monitor, something we're going to have more information for you guys tomorrow in our Overreaction Monday and in our injury updates video when that is available. So make sure you subscribe to the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports so you do not miss anything around that. Now let's get into a couple reasons why I think the Kansas City Chiefs lost. Starting with number 1, you couldn't protect Patrick in this game, guys. 15 struggled, but he struggled because he was constantly under duress from this Broncos pass rush. And this is something that we talked about over and over again in the preview. This is not a big surprise that the Broncos have a phenomenal pass rush. I said it in the preview, this is the best pass rush in the NFL. They will get after you, and they did, and they forced us to commit a bunch of penalties and to make a lot of stupid errors. Left a lot on the table today in the passing game just out of sync. And honestly, I was surprised it was only 3 sacks for Patrick. It just felt like the pressure was a constant issue, especially early on in this game. And then late in this game as well, when it was just so obvious we were going to try and pass. And that's something we'll get into later. The play calling in this game was just atrocious at times. Extremely frustrating. But the interception, several other inaccurate or just poorly timed throws, I feel like they were largely forced by pressure, and penalties came up from this pressure as well. 6 of our 10 penalties tonight, which we're going to hammer on penalties more in a little bit, they came from offensive linemen or holds. Simmons was called for multiple holds. I felt like overall, outside of the penalties, as weird as that is to say, he actually looked pretty good in this game, which was positive. Hasn't played in over a month, hasn't practiced much in over a month outside of this most recent week of practice. So it was good to see Simmons get back out on the field and seemingly look like he hasn't lost a ton of time. But the penalties did come back up. That was something we'd seen him struggle with early on this season. So it feels like we've maybe taken 1 or 2 steps back in that department for him. But, I mean, the examples he's getting set for him, not great, guys. Jawan Taylor, multiple penalties tonight. Back to his old ways. Kingsley, before he exited, had a hands to the face. And we had other penalties that could have been called against us, but that the Broncos ultimately decided to decline. There were just way too many formation errors tonight. We had illegal formation, we had illegal shift, we had multiple holds, illegal hands to the face, just a litany of penalties, a lot of those on the fault of the offensive line. And it all comes down to they were under so much duress. They were stressed out by this Broncos pass rush, and it was creating communication errors for this offensive line. They were holding because they knew they were going to get beat otherwise by Nick Bonitto and Jonathan Cooper, who, props to them, had a fantastic game in this one. They've had fantastic years. And I feel like another reason why that happened gets into point number 2, the play calling tonight. And I hit on it briefly. It was very poor. And a lot of people are going to blame Matt Nagy for that. And I understand Matt Nagy's the offensive coordinator, but Andy Reid is your play caller. And look, I'm not starting a fire Andy Reid campaign. That's not what this is. Absolutely not. But you got to recognize that even the best in the NFL can have really bad games, can come in with really bad game plans. We see it from Andy Reid. We saw it from Bill Belichick at the height of his powers. We see it from guys like Sean McVay out with the Rams. Sometimes you just don't come up with the best game plan, and tonight it was not Andy Reid's night. We abandoned the run. This has been a consistent theme for Andy throughout his 20-plus years in the NFL. He abandons the run, and tonight was a horrible night to make the decision to do that. Only 14 carries all game long, and I don't know what it's going to take for Andy to trust the run game, situationally especially. We'll talk about the third and shorts, but 4.5 yards per carry from Kareem Hunt tonight. I know we don't have Isaiah. Part of me questions, is it just he had so much trust in Isaiah that without Isaiah out there, he just doesn't trust the run game fundamentally, because we were running very effectively before Isaiah's injury. And ever since Isaiah's injury has come up, the run game has been inconsistent, and I don't really think it's a performance issue. We've had performance issues from running backs at times this season, but Kareem Hunt over the last 2 games has been solid. He has averaged over 4.5 yards per carry in both of these games. And we have gone away from him over and over again in the situations in which he is best. And I know I'm getting fired up right now, but I'm getting frustrated with this situation. And I feel like a lot of you guys should too. 5 third and 5s tonight. Would you like to guess in the comments how many of those 5 third and 3 or shorters tonight? Would you like to guess how many of those we opted to pass the football? 4 of them. 4 of them. That's unbelievable. That's horrible play calling. 4 times in 3rd and 3 or short with one of the best short yardage backs in the NFL, you put the pressure on Patrick Mahomes. I know he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I say it all the time. But what are we doing? Just turn and stick it in Kareem's belly. Let's pick up a first down. Let's keep the drive alive. But instead, we consistently go with passes in those situations. And you know what happened? 3 of those, you don't get it. You go 3 for 5 on 3rd and 3 or less. A 66% failure rate on 3rd and 3 or less, guys. Unacceptable. There's no 2 ways about it. You can't do that at the NFL level and expect to win football games. It's just unbelievable that that was the situation. And because you abandon the run, because the Broncos know that there is absolutely no chance you're going to lean on the run game consistently because it is just fundamentally not what you do, they can key into the pass. They can key up their pass rush. That's why our offensive line had such a hard time. I know I gave them a hard time, but it was hard for them to ever win in this situation. They weren't set up for success because the game plan was obvious. It was obvious tonight. We were going to lean on Patrick Mahomes. We were going to have him pass almost 50 times, 45 pass attempts for Mahomes. And I love 15 as much as the next guy. I'm going to say it all day long. But you just cannot be this one-dimensional at the NFL level. I don't care who's under center. I don't care if you have Jesus Christ under center. You cannot be this one-dimensional at the NFL level and expect to win football games. The Broncos knew what was coming far too often. It allowed them to key up on their pass rush. They were coming all night long with that. And it allowed them to defend the pass as well. Their secondary, even without Pat Surtain, did a great job tonight. They had multiple key pass breakups, and I honestly feel like they got some ticky-tack DPIs that kept us alive at times. Tough game from the passing game. I'm getting fired up. I really am. And speaking of getting things fired up, reminds me of Omaha Steaks, gang. Omaha Steaks, holidays are coming up around the corner, guys. And Omaha Steaks is the perfect gift for the people you love in your life. I was actually hanging out with my family this past weekend. We actually had some Omaha Steaks up on the grill as we watched Oklahoma get an enormous win over Alabama. Let's go Sooners. And I was talking with my mother, and she had been watching the videos recently, and she actually commented to me that it was funny I was doing Omaha Steaks ads because she is a huge fan of Omaha Steaks, because when her dad, my grandfather, was working in the finance industry, he used to get Omaha Steaks as gifts from his clients all the time. And these were very, very high profile clients. So you know they were given extremely nice gifts, and that was Omaha Steaks that they went to, because for decades, Omaha Steaks has offered unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Right now is the perfect time to save on delicious gifts and holiday hosting favorites. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and hand cut by masters butchers in America's heartland. And like I said, the savings are huge. I know I was talking about the high profile finance clients that got them, but you don't have to be a high profile finance client to get Omaha Steaks these days, especially if you are a Chiefs fan, because the Kingdom is going to get an extra $35 off with promo code Chiefs at checkout. Get big savings on big flavor this football season and save big on gourmet gifts and more holiday favorites with holiday steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Sizzle All the Way sale, and for an extra $35 off, use promo code Chiefs at checkout. Terms do apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code Chiefs at checkout. Big shout out to Omaha Steaks for sponsoring today's video. A true story about my mom. They're a huge fan of Omaha Steaks. Shout out Tiffany. Let's get back into the Chiefs takeaways. The Chiefs defense could not get a stop on 3rd and 15. I've let the offense have it. Let's get into the defense a little bit. And we talk about predictability in the game plan. And that is exactly what you have to talk about on 3rd and 15. Chris Jones, in his post-game interview, actually, and unfortunately kind of chuckling in a move that made my blood boil a little bit. I hate to admit it. Just the fan in me coming out. You know, you see a guy chuckle after a 3rd and 15 like that, chuckle about it. You're like, this isn't funny, man. This is killing me right now. It really, really is. But anyway, Chris Jones said, Bo Nix and the Broncos knew what was coming on 3rd and 15. And that they adjusted, and you could see that on tape. I went back and watched it. You absolutely do. They do make a quick adjustment at the line of scrimmage, and he made the conclusion that we need to disguise better in that situation because of it. And, you know, I don't disagree. Hey, you could definitely have that takeaway. My takeaway, though, why the hell did they know what was coming? Why the hell are you that predictable? Why the hell is your situational play calling so similar in all of these situations that as soon as Bo Nix sees this formation and the situation, he can immediately go, oh yeah, okay, I know exactly what they're doing. That's not good. That's unacceptable. Like, I don't know how else to put it. That is poor coaching at the end of the day. That is poor play calling when you are so stuck in your tendencies that you are that predictable to the opponent. That he could see a formation, immediately know what's coming, and decide, okay, yeah, we got to switch things up so we can kill him right here, which they did. 3rd and 15, you convert. Unbelievable. There is no situation in which you should allow an NFL team to convert a 3rd and 15 as an NFL defense. It's unacceptable. But it's even worse that you as a defensive tackle and as a defense in general knew that they knew what was coming. And, you know, the other thing, why not call a timeout there, Chris? Or Steve, if you know it was Chris Spags, why not get a timeout in there? Would have been a great opportunity to use one. Could have adjusted the formation if you knew that they knew what was coming. Man, that was a frustrating thing to hear. But I don't think that 3rd and 15 is the only example of bad play calling and bad game planning tonight on defense. Christian Fulton was not inactive tonight, and that's another just why. He's been inactive for weeks and weeks, and now suddenly he's a full-time starter playing a bunch of critical snaps. What is going on with that situation? I've talked about it all year long. Probably not enough given how big and weird of a situation it is. You sign a guy to a 2-year, $20 million contract, guaranteed $15 million of it, and he barely plays. You scratch him for most of the season. And then he just randomly comes back and is playing critical snaps. I don't get it. Where is Noah Williams? Why is Christian Fulton back in the lineup? A lot of questions around what Steve Spagnuolo decided to do. I thought the defense overall, outside of a couple key moments, and the weird thing with Christian Fulton was an okay game from the defense. It kept us in it in a lot of ways, but just really frustrating when it really mattered the most, and that's what it comes down to. Special teams. Let's get into number 4. Special teams killed you tonight. 2 penalties on special teams. This has been a story all season long with special teams. What is going on with the penalties? Short free kick today from Butker. Illegal block in the back as well. I'm done. You got to fire Dave Toub at this point. Toub has to go. I'd like to see Butker go as well. I know that frustrates you guys when I say that. I really don't care anymore at this point. He missed another PAT. This is his 4th missed extra point of the season, his 7th missed kick of the year overall. He has left 13 points on the football field. And I just got to ask, for people who are continuing to defend Harrison Butker, for people who think he should stick around, and I know he's given a lot to the franchise, I know he's meant a lot to this team, how many more points are you okay with leaving on the football field because Harrison Butker can't make simple kicks? That's all I got to ask you. How many more does it take? What's your line? Is it 20? We're at 13 right now. Is it 15? Do we need 2 more? I need an answer in that regard. What is the line for Harrison Butker for those that continue to defend him? Because I think we're well past any reasonable line. I think we've left way too many points on the field this season, and the penalties with special teams have been an enormous problem. They continue to be an enormous problem, and the consistent refrain of we just need to keep doing what we're doing and we'll get it going again from Dave Toub is not good enough. It's time to move on from Toub. I don't know if you need to do it right now or if you need to do it at the end of the year. Just continue to assess the situation. But Toub is not the answer anymore, in my opinion. And Harrison Butker is not the answer anymore either. And that one you do need to address right now. Bring in some competition for Butker before next week. We cannot go into week 12 with Butker as our only kicking option, in my opinion. It's as simple as that. The short free kick tonight cost us, and the missed extra point cost us as well. But he's cost us over and over again all season long. So, I'm done letting the Chiefs occupy my night tonight. I'm going to come at you guys with a lot more Chiefs tomorrow. I'm going to be ranting. We're going to be doing Monday overreactions. Trust me. But let's go over a couple key reasons why we lost again tonight. Number 1, poor protection. Number 2, poor game plan. You abandoned the run. Couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes. Abandoning the run was a huge part of the reason why you couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, because you were far too predictable offensively. Number 3, you gave up a critical 3rd and 15. Well, unacceptable in any situation, but the reason you gave up that 3rd and 15 is because you've been predictable in those situations this year, and the Broncos knew exactly what was coming, and you allowed them to adjust without taking a timeout. And number 4, your special teams continues to be an enormous issue. You had missed kicks tonight, and you had 2 critical penalties. That's really all there is to it. Chiefs are 5-5. Playoffs are still 100% within reach, but dicier at this point, and the AFC West just basically went out the window. We're going to talk Monday overreactions. We're going to talk more AFC West tomorrow morning. Make sure you subscribe, Chiefs fans, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I've been Jackson Durham, and you've been watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports.